Hi everyone! So you might be thinking, oh, another off-roader? Yes, but this one was designed for you fans in mind. You wanted something cheap, simple and reliable. So let's start with cheap first. I'm only using one Boovies 3.0 for powering and control, only two Boovies motors for driving, one more L motor for steering, and finally one more powered up medium motor for the gearbox. So that's only 5 electronic components, nice and cheap. Another thing to keep things cheap, part count is under 500, so that was my internal goal. I ended up using around 460 parts. They are very standard parts. I try to keep the lowest possible number of different parts, and the most specialized parts are probably just the planetary gear hubs or these tires that I'm currently using. So that's very simple and cheap. And when it comes to easy to build, I actually took a lot of effort and taught myself how to make building instructions in Studio, and as usual they're attached down there in the description, so there's a link. So I took a lot of effort to make it as simple to build, easy to assemble, cheap and reliable. Now finally, performance. The model uses a 2-speed gearbox, so we have a low and a high gear, which is activated by the medium motor here. It also has a Pendular front axle, which improves the off-road performance. The steering is nice, simple and robust, and thanks to its very short wheelbase, it is quite maneuverable. The model also uses two types of suspension. So as mentioned before, we have a Pendular axle in the front, but we also have independent suspension on all wheels, which improves the ground clearance basically, because it lifts the suspension higher, and it also provides a bit of shock absorption when you're going in the high gear. So that's the theory. So now let's see how it works in practice. So what do you think about performance? I think it does really great given its simple design. It can easily go over uphill, downhill, rocks, pebbles, leaves, no problems there. And it's also very robust. Thanks to the 2-speed gearbox, it can reach around 7 kilometers an hour, so there is no problem with this model keeping up when you're walking. So keeping up with your walking pace. Well, but that's not all. When I was designing this model, I wanted it also to be as easy to modify as possible. So I'm going to be also showing you some ideas in LEGO Digital Designer. The first, of course, simple modification is that you can replace the wheels. The biggest wheel/tire combination you can use is the 49.8 one here from the old tractors or the old crawlers. And this is the biggest wheel you can put in before you get problems with the wheels actually touching the buoys or the gearbox. Or if you want something more slick, you can use the one from the Audi, or you can even use the Defender or Tumbler wheels. Or, well, you can even use this one from the Bad Cycle. It's the biggest wheel that will fit, but it has a very low profile, so it's more useful for high speed. And yes, if you want high speed, there are several ways you can gain a higher speed from this model. First, you can replace the gears for the high gear ratio. You can replace the 20 and 12 one with 24 tooth clutch gear and an 8 gear. In that case, I recommend lubricating the dry line because you're dealing with very high RPM. Another way you can increase the speed is basically you can remove the planetary gear hub and replace it with the one from the Audi. In that case, I also recommend replacing the inner CV joint with a stronger one and of course the differentials. You can use two types of differentials. You can use the Audi ones, the yellow ones, which have a lower gear ratio, so it will give you a higher speed. Or you can use the red one, which will allow you for a bit of a lower speed, but more torque. Another thing you can do to improve stability when you're going in high speed is that you can basically fix the pendular front axle. You can immobilize it easily by just placing a single pin between the beam and the powered up L motor for steering. So there is a lot of modding potential, and I would really be happy to see what you fans come up with, what kind of your own versions and modifications you built. And if you like all the effort I put into the model, then please remember to subscribe and like. Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice day. Bye bye!